One. All right, welcome everyone to our FY21-Q3 data team demos around OKR, helping our GitLab community be a great team through self-service data. We're in late August, and the data team has been hard at work on these demos and these solutions for a couple of weeks. And we have two subject areas that we're working to create self-service solutions for. One is product geolocation analysis, helping everyone at GitLab understand where GitLab itself, GitLab the product, is being used, and helping to provide insights around usage and adoption growth over time. The second area is around customer segmentation. Who are our customers? Which industries are they in? Just to develop an overall better sense of our customers, because we're all at work in support of providing great solutions to our customers. So with that being said, we're going to take today's meeting into two chunks of time. We have 10 minutes allocated to product geolocation and 10 minutes allocated to customer segmentation. And with that, I'll hand it over to the product geolocation team to kick us off and share their demo.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I'll kick it off. Let me share my screen. We'll be starting with the handbook page that we put together. As we mentioned, we'll be talking through a solution for product geolocation analysis for our self-managed customers. And the high-level context for this is that understanding where our product is used around the world is an important step towards developing more complete understanding of our customers, what our reach is, and related location insights. A lot of this is derived from usage ping, which is set at the instance level, and it's a way that customers can send us payloads of summary statistics back on their usage data. And this instance level data will allow us to understand country level statistics and trends in instance adoption, version adoption rate, and details around our instance lifecycle. As mentioned in the agenda doc, we're excited to start building out knowledge assessments and certifications for both the dashboard solution and the underlying SQL data models we've developed for self-service. This handbook page does walk through a number of key terms and KPIs that this solution is related to. And with that, we can jump into the dashboard itself. So what we have here is starting with a number of high-level statistics around self-managed product usage data. And so these really give a high-level overview of the key things of interest and serve as good benchmarks if people are interested in doing their own analysis and validating against the reporting that's being produced here. One important call out for the analysis that we put together is that the period that this starts in will be November of 2019. The telemetry team introduced a number of improvements to usage ping around this date. And so this is kind of the first recommended date where we see stable reporting around usage data metrics. So it's a good thing to keep in mind for the rest of what is presented in this dashboard. And for each of these high-level metrics, we've included little blurbs around what exactly do we mean by something like paid instances. And this will help set some of the context and reduce any confusion around what is explicitly being shown here. So as the name suggests, one of the interesting things that we've introduced here is around geolocation. And so all of our instances, when they send us usage ping back, we do know the IP address of where that instance is reporting from. And so we can resolve this IP address to a country and start to understand what these metrics look like around the world. And so we can kind of see on a month-to-month level what these changes may be. Curiously enough, we do have some pings from Antarctica. There's a few other interesting tidbits in there. But we do see in this time period a pretty stable trend. Most of our usage data is coming from China and the US and Germany. And so one interesting thing of note here is that this is actually reporting based on the host of the instance. It's not necessarily the physical location of our customers. And so there's a lot of interesting detail that we'd like to dig in further to here to understand the underlying dynamics within that. But even at this level, we can kind of see, we have the most growth across China, Russia, South Korea. Regions like France and the Netherlands are actually contracting a little bit. And so we'd even like to go even more granular than country to see where adoption dynamics may exist. Digging in a little bit further to the overall dynamics of product usage data, one of the interesting views that we introduced here in this dashboard is the idea of looking at usage data at a cohort level. And so this is really saying, let's look at cohorts of instances based on the first date that we saw them report data and see how many of those continue to send usage data back to us over time. And this is a pretty striking number. Within the first month, about half of our instances stop sending us data. And if we extend that out to 6 months, that drops down to about a third. And so this has pretty interesting implications for downstream metrics like monthly active users, or looking at it at a stage or group level, where we really have to consider the nuance of that number is kind of summing up all of these underlying dynamics, when we really might want to see how much of that number is reported from net new instances versus customers that have remained with us for a long time. I think this is a good opportunity to walk through one of the filters that we've introduced on this dashboard, just to get a quick breakdown of these metrics by different quantities of interest. So one of the more striking examples that we saw here was if we only look at our ultimate instance base to see how this dynamic changes. And so we see here an even more dramatic trend, which is within 1 month, only about a third of our ultimate instances are still sending us data back. And within 6 months, that's almost dropped down to 10%. So there's a really great opportunity here to communicate the value of what GitLab can understand from usage ping and try to encourage more of our user base to stay opted into this. We know there's complications with the ultimate customers. Many of them are air gapped, but this is definitely an interesting area for improvement. We'll go ahead and drop that filter to continue. Just bear with me a moment. So one of the other interesting dynamics that comes into play here as well is how quickly are customers adopting the latest version of GitLab. And this chart is showing a bit of a summary view where we're only taking into consideration minor versions. So the different patches that are released with a regular cadence, we're kind of rolling that up into significant GitLab releases. And this is another interesting dynamic as well, in that about a month out from release, 15 to 16% of instances have adopted that latest version. And so when we think about the new functionality that we introduce into the product, or we think about new instrumentation that's been included into usage ping, there's going to be a bit of a delay in how quickly we can understand how customers are adopting those new features, or get more insights into the new tracking that's been implemented. We see this has a pretty slow taper over time. And so we have to take that into consideration with, it's going to take a while for these versions to trickle out into our population. And one final thought on that same topic is that there is a lot of variance in the versions that are reported among our instance base. Even if we look at the top 10 versions based on the number of instances reporting, this only accounts for about 60% of the usage data that we see. So there's a lot of diversity in the usage data that's available to us based on just the diversity in our customer base. So the last thing that I'll touch on here is, if you're interested in producing your own analyses and you're familiar with these data models and have worked with them in the past, this hopefully looks like a pretty significant improvement. We're really excited at how simple this final data model has turned out to be. It's a lot quicker to iterate through analyses with this new solution that we've come up with. And with that, I'll jump back over to the handbook page real quick. On that same note, we have some additional sections here around additional technical documentation. So we've put together an ERD that talks through this new MART that we've put together, how it relates to other dimensions that we have available in the data warehouse. And we're excited to extend this. One of the big objectives for us in the next couple of milestones will be incorporating more of those detailed usage metrics into this, And as we start to build out level 2 solutions across the data team, there will be additional dimensions here to play around with. And if you're really interested in digging into the data, you can reference our DBT documentation to see exactly how all of this was constructed and get an understanding of how this ecosystem of data ties together. And the last thing that we're really excited to introduce in the coming milestones will be more around our trusted data framework. So getting a lot of benchmark metrics coming out from the model, just getting a lot of extra confidence in that the results that are being produced here are good to go for reporting and additional insight generation. And with that, I think that covers what we have available to demo today.
Very nice, Derek. I caught at least 4 insights for me about how GitLab is being used that I wasn't aware of. So thank you and your team for that. How do people contribute now that you've shared this demo? How is the best way for people to provide feedback to what they saw and start to contribute toward the self-service solutions?
Yeah, so in the agenda doc for today, we do have an issue linked for feedback. We definitely love to have everybody's thoughts and ideas for improvement here. Anything that's in the dashboard, any new inclusions, or just what's going to be the best way to work with the data model, we'd love all of that feedback, and so that's linked in the doc.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Very, very cool. Right on time too. All right, so with that, we'll move on to our customer segmentation demo, and team, take it away.
All right, I'll get into it. Let me share my screen. All right, so to echo Rob and what Derek shared, the idea is to create self-service areas around subject areas within GitLab, analytics areas. So the area the lead to cash team focused on was customer segmentation analysis. And the idea is that our GitLab team members will be able to land on this page and largely be able to self-service themselves without the need for immediate questions. Sure, questions can be asked, but the idea is that this would give you a lot of information to train and to train you and to get you up to speed on you and our customers. So with that context, we can start to get into it. So customer segmentation, the lens we've taken is that we're looking at getting to know our customers better, getting to know their characteristics, their different firmographic attributes, and to see how our book of business, what they look like. So with this page, what you'll be able to do coming soon, we'll have knowledge assessment and certifications that our team members will be able to take to learn how to use the page and the different tools included. We have a solution ownership section. So these folks here, whenever there's issues in the source systems or people need access, these are some of the first people we can go to, and maybe then they can delegate out to resolve any issues. So Jack Brennan for Salesforce, Andrew Murray, he's Director of Revenue, Jack's Director of Sales Systems. So here's some key terms here, and we link to the handbook. So as you all play with this a little bit, when you link here and you click on it, let us know if it's clear, the definition. So the idea would be somebody could come to this page, they could sales segments included in this analysis, they can click here, and then they know what sales segment is. So if that's not the case, then that's an area for improvement, and that could be some good feedback. Same with the key metrics that are included in here. So with the customer segmentation, we're taking a view of the products that our customer have, the delivery, which is self-managed and SaaS, the sales segment, the account owner team, the territory, and the industry. So we'll be able to slice and dice two of our big key metrics, ARR and customer count. So this solution is currently configured to give insights into those, into this version, and we have many more ideas of additional questions that could be answered. And that could be some other feedback as you all review this. Like first, can you get insights into these attributes? And two, any additional things you'd like to know about our customers. So that as you kind of think about it, maybe think about it from that lens too. So I'll get you oriented to the rest of the page, and then we'll maybe see if we have some time to dive into some stuff. So within our solution, we want to be able to have a dashboard that somebody can go in and just use filters and get answers. We want to have a solution where somebody can develop a dashboard. So we're looking at getting some different data spaces within Sisense. So these would be two of our users. One user that, you know, I just need to, maybe your executive user, I just need to go to a dashboard and just get the information I need. I don't have time to be building stuff. You know, that's what we have a big team for. Maybe then there's another person that can go build stuff, you know, it's dashboard developers. So we want to empower that person that can get a little more technical. Our SQL developer, this is someone that can have some level of SQL knowledge, and we want to give them tools for that. So here we have the dashboard for our dashboard viewer, and then for our SQL user, we have a ERD, and this is the, and for a SQL user, this will be super helpful. So these are the data objects that roll up in our enterprise dimensional model to create the ARR data mart, which is what drives our customer segmentation analysis. So a SQL person will be able to come in here and look at it and say, oh, okay, here's how I can join all these things together. So that's the idea of the ERD. We have reference SQL. So we have a MART level, we have a MART layer similar to the product geolocation that Derek shared. We have a MART level table that'll be really easy for kind of your SQL 100, 101 user, where select, you know, just select some columns from this table, very basic, very easy to use. We also, then this ERDs, maybe somebody, some more advanced SQL users, they can come and play with these objects. And we even have some ideas to make these objects easier to work with. But so depending on your level of SQL, you have some different options, and in future iterations, we'll give some more reference SQL on how to play with those dimensions more. Similar to the product geolocation, there's a data lineage chart, and you can see, if you wanted to see kind of what all the objects are that roll up to the, well, I guess it's loading here, that build that model. We'll let that load, kind of similar to here, and you can click in here and you can see kind of what objects build each of these objects. So that's kind of cool. You can play with that. And then our trusted data solution. So we want people to have confidence in our data. And this section here that will continue to be developed does this, where we want to implement tests to ensure that the data coming into our warehouse is complete and accurate, and that the quality of the models that are built are also accurate. So this is what this dashboard does here. It gives a view onto the health of our pipeline, and the goal here is to give confidence in our data. So this is something you can also peruse as well. So now that we've gotten an overview of the solution, of what we have so far, let's get into the main event, which is the dashboard. So now you get to this dashboard, and there's a lot of charts on here. So let me orient you to the dashboard. One, there's a bunch of filters here that you can filter for the firmographic attributes. So you can filter for your account owner team, industry, your territory, delivery, SaaS, self-managed, your products, and your product tier, sales segment. And whenever you filter by one of these, every chart on the dashboard will also filter by one of those. So the idea is, if you click US East here, it will show you all the charts based on the slicer of US East account owner team. So that is good. So that's one piece. And then down the side, you can see we've organized the dashboard into sections to kind of call out what's being done in this dashboard. So you have product attributes, sales segment charts, delivery charts, account owner team, territory, and industry. And then also a few account level details. And we'd love your feedback on which one of these charts pop, which one of them kind of gives you some insights, which one of them answers questions, or as you look at them, what questions are being answered in your mind. And we want it to be largely self-service with somebody could just come to this chart, and then they would get information out of it. So that's what I would love for you all to do, is just to go play with this dashboard and see if you can get some insight. So let's do an example. So let's say I'll take a sales example. Let's say I wanted to know what's our SMB business look like? Well, before I do that, so when you land on the dashboard, what it's showing you now is for total company. So if you view any of these charts, take product category for the prior month. So prior month, we had exit ARR of 130.3, and then this shows you the mix of the product category for the total month. You know, probably not shocking, 30% of it is premium, coming in at premium. We have an other category there. So this gives you one insight you can see here, 30% of ARR, but 11% of customers. So premium, you know, has the higher price. So let's say you wanted to know the similar thing. Let's say SMB. So you can just click SMB, hit apply. So let's see what this looks like for SMB. And then I'll come in here for a landing here in a couple of minutes. There's a lot of charts, so maybe it'll take like maybe 15, 20 seconds to refresh. And while it's refreshing, so now this is giving us the view for SMB. So now we can see the product mix for SMB. This chart's really cool. This is a dynamic chart for SMB. This is giving you the total ARR for SMB. If you want a total parent counts for SMB. So this is a nice chart there. Well, this sales segment, now it filtered. Before it showed you all segments, but now this is showing SMB. This is a cool chart here. SMB is 10% of our ARR, but 69% of our accounts. So there's a bunch of accounts with small annual recurring revenue. You could come down here to see the delivery mix of SMB. You can see for this one here, this is kind of the prior month mix with number of customers and ARR. This delivery kind of shows you the quarter over quarter growth for SMB, so on and so forth. One thing to note, I know Tim will like this, here's a net retention view here where it gives you a view on net retention we have the SMB filtered. So by your territory, it's giving you your SMB net retention by territory. It's giving you this industry view here. It's giving you your prior month industry metrics. And then this one is giving your net retention view of the same thing. So just to kind of orient you to the chart, I got about 1 minute left.
Does it have delivery?
Yes,
For
it
net
has
retention?
delivery right here. Yep. So here's your delivery of SMB. So let's see, SMB. It looks like you got a nice mix of SaaS and self-managed in SMB. One thing to note, this dashboard is at the ultimate parent level, which is our level we use for external reporting. So it's interesting at the ultimate parent level. You'll see there's ultimate parents that have more than one delivery. So you can see this here. They can have a self-managed delivery and a SaaS delivery. You'll see here that there's, in the filter here, there's some ultimate parents that have more than one product, more than one tier, a different product, different tier. So as you kind of work through the customer hierarchy, just keep that in mind when you do it. I know it can be a little bit tricky sometimes with our parent hierarchy. So let's so that's kind of what we have. We have some other charts down here that we're still playing with and still validating. So don't mind this section. Renewals, I think we know renewals is a tough one to solve. I don't think we quite solved for what do our renewals look like. I think we're close, so we still want to work on that some more. Yeah, so that's the customer segmentation, and I spent a lot of time going over what you see in the charts, but it would be great if it was like self-explanatory would be the idea. And then in terms, when you review it, we do have, where is the Fusion Team demo? Yep, so we have a link in the agenda. I added some questions here, and maybe the team, if we could add more questions that we would like our early adopters would give us feedback on. Like, how easy is it to use? Did you see any bugs? Did it provide meaningful, good insights? Maybe recommended improvements? Can you self-serve with this? Do you think you could self-serve with it? Does it help you self-serve better? You know, just stuff like that. Maybe we can add some more questions here.
Israel, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The team, I really love what I'm seeing today. This is data, a data solution and insights that will help GitLab immensely. And it's an example of where we're heading over the overall data program and creating what we're calling level 2 solutions that consist of these fantastic dashboards that are built at giving you insights, the self-service handbook pages, which allow you to build your own dashboards on top of the existing dashboards if you want. And if you're so inclined, you can take some of the SQL examples we've provided and write your own queries. And as you'll see over time, you'll see a lot of these subject areas start to blend together. And you'll say, doesn't it make sense to have it there or there? Absolutely. That's what an integrated data model does. So thank you everyone for your time. Please provide comments in the feedback issues that we've created, and more good stuff to come. Thank you.
Thanks.